a million pieces of candy to have to turn into the dentist. So
You won't get your McDonald's coupons that way.
I didn't think about that.
So for the neighborhoods that are trick-or-treating, are you guys, is there like a general rule that people are putting out for like having to wear masks, like actual COVID masks, or putting candy at the front of the driveway? Some other things I've heard are just like everything's prepackaged and you're not, I mean, it's usually prepackaged, but just what kinds of things are people doing for trick-or-treating if your neighborhood's even doing it?
I like we're in a very hilly neighborhood. A lot of people have talked about getting PVC pipe and doing a little candy drop shoot.
That's amazing.
One person hooked up a power drill to a fishing line, and he has a little basket that he winds back and forth.
I like it.
That's great.
He also puts treats for the adults in it.
That's awesome.
We just had the PVC pipe discussion at dinner right before I joined the Zoom on, do we really need to go buy it and do it? And so I think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, Dee Dee, we usually come over to your neighborhood, but I think we're gonna stick in our area of Forest Lakes, but we usually walk over and go to all of that behind us.
Yeah, we're planning on giving out candy probably at the end of our driveway.
So how many weeks before all those PVC pipes get turned into potato cannons?
That's fun, actually. Have you done it?
Or pumpkin chuckers.
There you go. I think that sounds like a great STEM project.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So is the car parade going to get rescheduled?
Yeah, we're working on finding a date. We'll talk about it at the staff meeting with everyone tomorrow morning.
Okay. Noelle, I'm going to let you be the one that lets everybody in if you don't mind,
Okay.
just because I don't want to have my cursor here visible to everybody over top of everything.
I have yet to see people popping up. I don't know why.
Okay, I think people will just continue to roll in as, they're finishing up dinner and getting everything going. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Randy. We were just talking about what people are doing for Halloween this year. Is there anything that's normal about that holiday for your family or for the neighborhood?
We're not trick-or-treating. I'm gonna set up a table outside in our driveway and put candy bars on it.
Oh,
And we may sit out there around our fire pit, which I guess is normal, and watch them as they go by. And my husband will make chili. That's about it.
That sounds nice.
We're going to entice people to come to our neighborhood next year by giving away full-size candy bars this year.
It works. Be careful. It works. And then
It's
you get
okay.
the same trick-or-treaters like 3 times in a night.
We only have one side of the street that has houses, so not many come down because they can't do the loop. I don't blame them.
We get tons.
Dee,
I was in your neighborhood last year, so I know.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
all right, well, let's go ahead and get started just because it's a little bit after 7 and I know we've got a lot going on tonight, which is awesome. So welcome everyone. Excuse me. I just want to say from the beginning of the meeting that if there are any questions throughout the entire conversation about anything, whether it's PTO related or for teachers or for Seth or for any of the folks who are going to be speaking, that in the chat box at the bottom of your screen, just type a little message to Noelle, and at the very end when we have the question and answer time, she will be kind of collaborating the questions and consolidating and try to answer similar ones at once. So we're going to roll through the PTO business first, and then hear a little bit from Seth, and then give an update from Megan Argo, our parent council representative, and then we'll move right into listening to and seeing presentations from Miles and Courtney, and then Andrew Owens too about mental health. And then we'll have the Q&A at the end. And I just want to say from the beginning that this will be recorded for folks that can't be participating tonight. We created a YouTube channel for the PTO, and so this recording will be on there. You can find it afterwards. So I just want to introduce those that are joining us for the first time, the members of the PTO Executive Board. I'm Allison Oakes, and president this year. And then there's Noelle Jorgensen, who is our vice president. If you all want to wave or say hello, that would be great so people can see you on their screen. Then there's Nicole Burkholder, our treasurer. Jessica Goins is our secretary. Kathy Morrison is volunteer coordinator, but has also been spearheading the Adopt a Teacher program this year. And then there's Jennifer Sims, who's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, specifically with the website, which is a huge job this year.
Did you have to go back out?
One thing that we've done as a board for both our board meetings and for the general meetings, we like to just start off by talking about some things that we're noticing that are going well, some positives and some highlights. And I think that that's especially fun and encouraging for us to do this year because it's, I mean, no secret, it's a hard year. I mean, we're doing school virtually, and we've just been in a long 7 months. But I think that one great thing that I'm hearing from lots and lots of parents and teachers and students too, just about how strong our community still is. And I think it's really, I'm hearing stories about parents that are reaching out to one another, parents that are caring for each other. I know some parents, you guys have probably all heard about getting booed at Halloween time, where you might like have a little Halloween treat on your doorstep. Well, some parents have started like pawing each other. So there's like little bear themed treats and snacks, just as a way like to say, hey, I see you teaching your kids at home and helping them be the best that they can be for the virtual school. And I think that that's just been a really notable thing that's going on. The teachers are just still blowing me away with the effort that they're putting in to not only teach kids through this format of Zoom, but also to make personal connections with their students, to really make sure that the students are there, that they're getting the materials that they need. I'm amazed by just the goodies that the kids are getting, not trinkets and that kind of goodies. I'm talking about like the art supplies and the math worksheets and the pencils, and just there's some really personal touches that are coming home in the bus deliveries. And our neighborhood loves the bus stop. I mean, it's a highlight on Friday mornings to be able to gather with other neighbors and see kids. And it's just a normal part of life, which has been really cool. And I've been impressed, and I think we all have been really impressed too, with the communication coming from not only the teachers, but from the administration, and representing the school board well, representing the superintendent and the decisions that are being made as we move into Q2. It's hard, and there's been a lot of questions, but thank you both, Seth and Christine, for the way that you're communicating well and trying to present as much information as you have. All right, we're going to move into the committee reports, the business side of the PTO. Nicole is up first here with the budget and where things stand.
Can you all hear me?
Sort of. Nicole, can you text me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, I emailed you. I emailed you my notes.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to come back to this one as my email's pulling up. Nicole's losing some internet. Actually, here it is. All right, so the first thing here, if you can see the top under the green where we've got the income, the spirit wear, which we're going to be talking about in another slide coming up. we are working on a new design, and we're going to be, Megan Medici is going to be talking about that. Let's see. Feed the Bear is another line item here, which is a hassle or like a cash donation opportunity to donate to the PTO. And it's just a great way to make a donation, and it goes into the operating budget of the PTO. We're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. We are continuing to get sponsorships from other local businesses, and we just got one from Airport Auto just this week, actually, which was great. And then moving down to expenses under, you'll see in the educational enhancements, we reimburse teachers for classroom incidentals and things that they might need. And like what we were talking about before, stuff that they might send home on the buses for the students to use for their at-home learning. Teachers are starting to submit their receipts for reimbursement. And another thing that we are going to be talking about at our next board meeting next month is the potential for another Scholastic book fair. That's something that we are talking about with Scholastic. They've got a lot of COVID safe options now, and even one option of just doing everything exclusively online. So just look for that possibly in the spring. Nicole, if there's anything to add, just go ahead and type it in the notes to Noelle, and she can say that at the very end of the meeting. Sorry about the lost connection there for her. Jessica, we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September.
I motion to approve the meeting minutes.
A second.
Okay, minutes are approved. Noelle ran our attractions campaign. Go ahead.
So attractions ended after a three-week campaign, and thanks to everyone who bought books. We sold 55 books, and that made $481 for the PTO. That's about 50% of what our lowered goal was. We lowered our goal knowing that this year was going to not be great for attractions. Our goal was 100 and we sold 55, so we did 50% of that. We are looking at the attractions is usually one of the bigger fundraisers for the year. And because we knew that it wasn't going to meet its potential of the past, we are going to look at smaller, more creative ways to fundraise in the future. So please stay in tune for that. But the easiest thing that is ongoing through the year is actually Feed the Bear. And Feed the Bear can be, you can contribute to the PTO, which 100% of the donation goes to the PTO. And you can get to that link on the Baker-Butler PTO site, but we also frequently post things on social media about it. So this is a great way for families to donate directly to the PTO. 100% of it goes, and it's just really simple and easy to do. And we do have a goal for that. So hopefully we'll be moving up towards that goal as the year progresses as well. That leads us into some easy ways that parents and families can contribute to the PTO by simply linking their shopping to money that can be contributed to the PTO. So you can do that through Amazon Smile, and you just have to make sure that you pick Baker-Butler as your charity, Baker-Butler PTO as your charity, and a portion of everything you spend goes to us. And then we also have the ability to link our grocery cards for Harris Teeter and Kroger to Baker-Butler PTO as well. All of that can be done on links that have been shared on Facebook, but also it's very easy if you get into your Harris Teeter and Kroger accounts, you can link your cards that way as well, those are great opportunities for us to make a little bit of money on money that you're going to be spending anyway. So just stay tuned for other fundraisers in the future, and hopefully we can make a little extra money then and make up the difference that we've lost through some of our basic fundraising that we've seen in the past.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
Okay, and now the Adopt a Teacher program, Cassie Morrison.
Hi. Okay, so little update. There's a huge number there that I wanted to start with. So we have 95 teachers that we are still looking to be adopted, but we have 41 teachers that are currently being loved on by families in the Baker-Butler big family. So if you have not yet and you are still interested in signing up, please, please, please let us know. There are still so many wonderful teachers that we'd love to take care of. I am doing an email blast on Tuesdays with tips. So I don't want this to be overwhelming for any families who want to sign up. If you're thinking, I just don't know what I would do, I don't know like what this means, shoot me an email at the email at the top, and I can walk you through what we're thinking, and then also every Tuesday send you some kind of extra information on what it would mean to adopt a teacher, and some ideas of how to keep loving on them, month after month. I would be remiss as the volunteer coordinator if I did not point out, and I know I pointed this out last month, but I want to do it again. This idea came to us from another parent. So if you guys have ideas, please shoot them our way. We love getting things like that, and I don't mind passing them along if you get them to me, to whoever they need to go to. So any great ideas you have, we will gladly take them. But this is one that I think is working really well, and we're super excited that the teachers are already getting some items rolling into them. So
That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Custom spirit wear. Megan, you're up.
Hi guys. So I am running with the custom spirit wear this year. We're going to do things a little differently due to COVID. We are going to go directly through the Custom Ink website. We'll have 6 different items to choose from. We'll have 4 short sleeves, blue, pink, a rainbow tie-dye, and the blue tie-dye, which we had last year. We're going to have a royal blue long sleeve and a royal blue sweatshirt, which you see on the screen. Our prices are going to remain the same as you've seen in the past, so there's no increase in price. We've kind of updated the design a little bit to add something new for the students and our families. The awesome thing with going through Custom Ink is you can have these items shipped directly to your house. So we don't have to worry about a parent pickup or, the contact between adults. So the shipping prices, they range from $4 for 1 item up to $10 for 4 items, which is a steal if you think about buying 4 sweatshirts and only have to pay $10 in shipping. So there's also an option on the Custom Ink checkout form to make a donation to Feed the Bear. We will also receive a small portion of the sales will go back to the PTO. And then all items will be shipped the beginning of December. So our closing date to order will be November 25th. The big thing to keep in mind is we are not buying any additional items. So if you don't place your order on November 25th, I can't help you. I know that's not nice, but there's really nothing else I can do. So if you like it, you need to order it. We'll blast between now and the closing date a friendly reminder. But our link will be available on Monday, so we can start collecting purchases then.
Thank you, Megan. And if you have any questions related to this order, you can just email bakerbutlerpto@gmail. Okay, Seth, you're up.
All right, I don't have anything to show on the screen. If you want to stop screen sharing, it's up to you. So, hey everyone, thanks for coming out tonight or logging on tonight. I have a few updates. We know a lot of different things are happening right now, including we are getting ready for stage 3, which impacts our kindergarten through 3rd grade students the most. So right now we are spending this week contacting families in K through 3, whether they chose hybrid, which is coming into school 2 days a week, or to remain virtual, which is either an AM or PM session. So this week, those families find out who their teachers are, if their classes had to change. what days of the week they'll be coming in or what time they'll be logging on. So if you did select hybrid or virtual for K through 3, you should be hearing from your teacher. You should have probably heard your teacher by now. So you have that information. And we're working to balance our classes, but also support our families with schedules, which you know are really, really hard. And again, we just really, really appreciate everyone's patience through all this. We know there's been a lot of changes as school board votes change where we're headed, and we're trying to get information to you as quickly as we can. And in that spirit, next Friday, we're going to be having a parent meeting just to go over all the different safety protocols that we have in place for the return to school group. So you'll be notified about this more specifically with a link, but we're going to go over everything from, you know, the temperature checks we're doing to get off the buses, to logistics for arrival and dismissal, to how we handle symptomatic students, or if there's a positive COVID case, to recess safety, to things that you can do at home to help support this. We'll review the mask policy, water bottles, every detail that we have we'll be going over. So we'll send that information out to families for me next Friday, and then we'll record it. So if you can't log on at those times, you can always just check it out when you do have time. So our goal, again, is to make this as safe as possible and as fun as possible and as useful as possible for our students. So the in-person learning for K through 3 for students who chose hybrid does start on the 11th if you're a Monday, Wednesday student, or the 12th if you are a Tuesday, Thursday student. So more information about that is coming from your child's teacher. If you haven't gotten that already, you should any moment now. We did have a parade scheduled for today, and it was supposed to be a monsoon all day. And then right around the exact time the parade was supposed to start, the sun actually came out, and Christine and I were sitting in my office shaking our heads like 2020, every time you try to plan something, this is what happens. So we're going to work with our teachers to reschedule that probably sometime next week, and we'll get that information out to the community. So have your kids hold on to their character outfits because they don't have to put them away after Saturday. We're going to have a late dress up day at some point next week for a parade. End of quarter conferences are happening right now. Even if some of your students are transitioning to a new teacher, if you're switching from virtual to in-person, you're still going to have a conference with your current teacher. And that will be happening to you now in mid-November. So if you've not been contacted about that by your teacher yet, please reach out to them. I know they're working hard to get those on the schedule. And for many grade levels, students will actually be involved in those conferences to share their work and kind of go through what they've been working on and share goals with parents and with teachers. We are really grateful to those of you who are at the bus stop, like Allison mentioned, for the supply drops on Fridays. A huge amount of work goes into that when we send home supplies and library books each week. So if your teacher tells you that the supplies will be coming on the bus and you can be there, please be there. If you can't, they come back to the school and we'll have them ready to pick up later that afternoon. But we have had more and more things coming all the way back, which is a tour we really don't want to send our school supplies on. So if you can be there or your children can be there safely, please make sure you're there at those times for pickups. We want to keep this going. And we plan on to keep this going even when stage 3 happens, because we'll still have a good portion of our kindergarten through 3rd grade students virtual, and we'll also have most of our 4th and 5th grade students virtual as well. So we will continue the lunch deliveries, the breakfast deliveries, which is one run, and our supply and library book runs on Friday. So all that will continue into the next stage. And finally, I just want to remind folks that Christine and I do have office hours every Monday. It's in the newsletter as it goes out, but it's every Monday from 11 to 12:30. So if there's questions, you just want to come and say hi, please log on. As always, you can reach both of us by email or call. Any questions that you have, we're here to answer. And I know there's a lot coming, happening right now. We do that meeting next Friday, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have right now regarding anything going at the school, stage 3, anything I can help you with.
Thank you.
Sure.
Now we're going to hear from our teacher representatives, Dee Dee Leach and Randy Wellborn.
Yes, so Seth pretty much summed up what we've been up to the last couple of weeks and what we are moving into with all the different changes and things. But I'd have to just give a big shout out to our students and to our families. The students have done an amazing job. I'm blown away by what they're doing every day as they log on and their participation. And that comes from you, the parents. So we appreciate your support. And we heard your encouragement in our community meetings and notes and letters. So that just really means a lot. So just wanted to say thank you. And then one big thing this week, even though our parade got canceled or postponed today, our Spirit Week this week. And thank you to the PTO for putting out the information and encouraging families to participate. it was always fun to log on to each session, whether it was AM or PM, and to see the students dressed up and excited, and complimenting each other and encouraging each other. So in the midst of what we're in, the times we're in right now, we're still having a lot of fun and doing lots of learning.
Miss Leach, we saw some parents dressed up today when we logged on, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Which I wish I had known, because right before I'm scrubbing off the paint I had on earlier today, I could have just left it on. But my children were like, "Mom, you can't go on Zoom with that on your face." But anyway, but yes, it was a great week. It was fun. So
Thank you. Okay, I think, well, I'm not going to go back to sharing my screen because there's just one little note written here for Parent Council. Megan Argo, I don't think that she's with us tonight. She literally has no voice. She has bronchitis, and so she can't speak up about the Parent Council meeting that they had a couple weeks ago. But just like what we're going to be talking about here tonight, the topic was on mental health. And there was a really great presentation by Region 10, and we're going to be posting a link to their presentation on the newsletter that you guys get on Mondays. So be looking out for that, and just some resources and things that, some tools for caregivers to be, to just know about as they're taking care of their kids, and parents and teachers and such and such. So if you have any questions about the Parent Council ever, you can email Megan Argo, and I'll make sure her email is also as part of the newsletter that you guys are going to get on Monday. So, and then now I'm going to turn it over to Miles Nelson and Courtney Burnson.
Awesome.
Something I can let you share here.
Yeah, that would be great if you let me share.
Yeah, of course.
While she's doing that, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. I'm always excited to connect with parents and have an opportunity to share some of what myself and Miss Burnson get to do at school.
Yeah, and while she's doing that, I'll introduce the ones that don't know me. I'm the newbie in the room. I'm Courtney Burnson. As you may have heard, Miss Moon left, and I got fortunate enough to be able to slide in and take her spot this year. So first year at Baker-Butler, but I do have 2 kids who went through Baker-Butler, and I've been doing school counseling for a while, but I am excited to be at Baker-Butler this year.
Great. That should work.
And we are excited to have you at Baker-Butler this
Thank
year.
you.
All righty. So counseling in the time of COVID. Quick presentation. So first, what we like to do most is to do prevention services. So this is kind of what those Friday lessons you've been seeing that are from myself and Ms. Burnson. This is a big part of that. When we are in person, we're teaching those classes in person, going into the classes. And so right now we have an alternative form, and right now we're collaborating with teachers to teach them the social emotional skills, working on building social skills, social awareness, and handling life transitions, emotional regulation, coping with life stressors, and more. And so we generally tend to have themes from month to month. So for October, we had the theme of kindness. We're moving on to gratitude. And within those, we sprinkle in different coping skills through some of those. All of these lessons, we are currently working through are generated through a professional learning community that is based off the Caring Communities curriculum, which is a research-based SEL curriculum. And that's also modified to make sure that we're meeting all of our American School Counselor Association standards. So second biggest part of what we do is responsive services. So this is when parents contact us and they say that their student is struggling, or they're not understanding what's going on. Why is my kid screaming every night? Or something that's going along the lines of they're struggling with kind of some of the behaviors that might seem odd to them, that where has my child gone? And so Ms. Burnson and I are a great resource to touch base with, and we're able to talk through what we're seeing and be objective as we can to help you kind of problem solve and come up with strategies of what you can do to help your child function within the school setting. with that, we've also helped out with many variety of resources. We worked with kids working through anxiety, social skills, anger management. We've self-control, transitional families, military families. There's a lot of different resources that we have available to us and that we're able to help families with. And then we also provide kind of crisis counseling. So if there's ever something more severe, Ms. Burns and I are always in the building. Well, we're always in the building, are still available to support teachers, staff, and students whenever there's a crisis on hand. And then one thing I'm very excited here is to have Andrew with us, because we also talk about when something is out of our expertise, we will refer parents out to outpatient resources. So Andrew, I'm sorry, I can't see his name on the board, so I don't know his last name at the moment, is with a private company, and they can offer more services than what a counselor would be able to provide within a school setting. And so the reason why I say that is because our schedules are very hectic at times, and trying to do individual one-on-one counseling with a kid isn't the ideal setting within a school setting. And so that's why if there's a larger need, we tend to refer out to our outside agencies because they can devote, in a counseling session, you generally want like 45 minutes to an hour or longer to be able to work with a kid to kind of dig into some of the problems they need. And in a school setting, if you're pulling a kid out of class or pulling any kid for an hour a day, they're also missing content, and it makes it a balancing act of what we do within the schools. And then one thing that I'm very excited that I've got to do a lot more this year is consult with parents. Always freely available. I'll make sure to give Miss Oates my phone number and email, and parents are allowed to reach out at any time. More than happy to just kind of talk through what you're seeing. Using Ms. Bernson as a backboard is a great way to see if this is something normal, if this is something stressor, is this something that's stressing a lot of families now, or does this seem more severe? And we're more than happy to talk through all that with you, and also provide strategies and help you generate strategies, and then follow up to see if those strategies are working. And if not, we can brainstorm more together.
Miles, I just want to add one thing real quick. I just want to stress what Miles is saying. Don't hesitate to reach out. I know a lot of parents have said, I don't know if this is normal, if it's not normal. My go-to is always, you're the parent, you know your child best. If something doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. Reach out. We don't care. Even if it's a small problem, big problem, whatever, it's always better to reach out than to just sit back and wonder. Sorry, thank you, Miles.
Oh, no, thank you for jumping in. And I made the joke earlier. One of my favorite things to tell a parent is, yes, that's stereotypical. It's awesome. Your kid is finding a way to communicate. Well, we need to teach them that maybe screaming at this time is not the best time to scream and a way to communicate, but all behavior is some type of communication. So absolutely. And then the last thing I want to end on is one thing that we've been hearing a lot is what's normal, what's not. And so this is a resource that was shared by the VDOE. And one thing that was pointed out to me, and I find it very funny, is at the very bottom right-hand corner, it says avoid media exposure. So it is not screens in general. They are talking about media exposure. So having the news on repeat, talking about COVID and all the world problems that are going on, that is what is harmful or hard for kids to process. When we are sharing things with kids about COVID or natural disasters, it has to be age appropriate, and that's where we're talking about avoiding media exposure. But all these are pretty general responses to different reactions, and this plays right into what Ms. Bernson said. You know your children best. What is increase in crying? Clinging behaviors, what's normal? If you have a kindergartner and before it used to be very easy to get out the door, and now if they're holding onto your foot and dragging you across the floor, it might be different now. So please reach out to us anytime. We're so happy to talk about different behaviors we see and what we see across a broad spectrum, because we do get to talk to many parents and see many, many different behaviors. So we are more than happy to help come up with different strategies to help with any behaviors you might be seeing at home. And then I will go ahead, Ms. Bernstein.
Please note that if you are seeing any of these things, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's not because you're failing as a parent. It's because your child is going through a lot of emotions and they don't know how to handle it. And that's just how they're choosing to express it. So it's not, try not to take it personally. I know as a parent, it's hard not to, and it's hard not to feel like you're failing. But trust me, these are challenging times for everybody. And we're all doing the best we can, and we know you are. So yeah,
I always make the joke at home. I am much better with other people's kids than my own. So I completely understand that it is hard. And when you're in it, you feel like you have to win that argument with your 5-year-old, and you end up losing, but it's fine. We'll get through it. So these are our slides. And then I wanted to take a few minutes to answer any questions that parents might have. And if not, what did I click on? Move through to let Andrew talk about what services can look like when families are referred out to a private provider.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here with you all and to talk a little bit about the services that are available to you all in the community. As Mr. Nelson was saying, there are, I don't have the exact number of students in your school, but you have 2 school counselors, and there are a lot of kids, right? And attached to each one of those children is an entire family system that is experiencing life difficulties, stresses, a number of other things. And sometimes the issues that are at work in that child's life and in the lives of that family just supersede and overwhelm the ability of you all at the school to be able to work through that. And that's where we come in. An interesting statistic is that anywhere between 50 and 75% of individuals who seek out mental health services go to less than 3 sessions, and then they never go back to see that mental health professional again. And there's a lot of reasons why that might be the case. One of the theories about it, though, is that just that initial visit to that mental health professional is enough to help them feel better about their situation, and then they're able to move on and resume their typical everyday functioning. But there are many individuals where that is not the case, and they require higher levels of care, which is where my agency would come in. So my group is called National Counseling Group. We are a community-based mental health agency, which, as the name would imply, our services take place right there in the community. Now, we do offer a traditional outpatient counseling program, which is sort of like your standard therapy modality that most people are used to. If you think about like Bob Newhart, right? People would come in to see Bob Newhart for an hour a week, and then they would leave, and then they would see him the next week. We do offer a service like that we refer to that as outpatient counseling. That is 1 hour a week with individuals who are having trouble managing relationships and managing some of the things that are difficult that are going on in their homes. And then we also have services that we would consider what we would deem to be higher levels of care. These are services that take place right there in the homes and in the communities of the clients that we are providing the service to. These services can range across the spectrum in terms of severity and in terms of issues. It could be anything from working one-on-one with parents to help them to develop the skill set that is needed to manage difficult situations with their children, and that can range all the way up to crisis stabilization, which is a program where children are at immediate risk of an out-of-home placement and are at risk of needing to go into a hospital setting or residential treatment setting, and crisis stabilization can prevent that and keep that individual there in the home. What our services are intended to do is to stabilize clients in the community so that they can continue to take part in and their schools and their extracurriculars, maintain relationships with friends and family, and be able to receive the support that comes through natural systems that society initiates and generates for them. If you were to go in and look at research when it comes to out-of-home placements, whether that's the hospitalizations or residential treatment centers or incarceration or any of those types of programs, what you see is that individuals can stabilize while they're in those services, but typically speaking, once they return back home, they're not going to get better. And in some cases, they actually begin to digress. And the problems that they were experiencing before become exacerbated because they come home with additional negative coping skills that they picked up in the facility where they were at. So it's our goal as an agency to be able to help address the issues that where they are occurring right there in the homes and right there in the communities through a variety of services that we offer, in order to keep them connected to their families, keep them connected to friends, keep them connected to natural supports, teachers, school counselors, school administrators who care about them and are looking to help them build a better future. Keep them connected to those systems and learn to be able to work through those difficulties right there in the community where they're going to be spending a majority of their time. So those are the types of, that's the philosophy that National Counseling Group operates with. Like I said, we have a number of different programs. I would say our most utilized program is our intensive in-home program. That is up to 10 hours a week of counseling with an individual and with a family. We work with that family system from two directions. We are spending time with the individual student who might be experiencing mental health difficulties, and we work with them through the barriers that they have to appropriate and healthy functioning in the community. And then we're also working with the family. Most of you are aware that if things aren't going well at home, chances are things aren't going well with your child either. I had a kind of a stressful day at work today, and we were sitting down eating dinner, and I'm sitting there like this, I'm holding my head, and my daughter looks at me and she's like, "Daddy, are you frustrated?" And it's like, nothing gets by you, kid. I am a little bit frustrated, and we talk about it. So kids pick up on everything that they see, and when there is high stress, low functioning in the home, we can expect the same thing from children. So our programs are set up to not only work with the individual, but also to work with the family, because we know that individual, that child, is only going to go so far as their family is able to go with them. So in terms of what we can offer, we have a variety of services. As I said, it's probably too much for me to mention here, but I can just go through some of our heaviest hitters. We do have our crisis stabilization program, which again is helpful in keeping children in their homes and out of the hospital settings. We have our intensive in-home program. We have adult services as well. It's our skill building program, which is set up to be able to allow us to work with adults who are struggling to meet some of the basic demands of their lives, whether it comes to taking care of their home, taking care of their finances, their occupation, those sorts of things. And then we have a variety of other services which are a little bit more specialized, but certainly beneficial. Things like life skills coaching for older children and adolescents, therapeutic mentoring, parent coaching, which is certainly a very useful program. I think if you've ever come into contact with a child who is struggling, and you sit down, you talk with that child, and you spend a little time with him or her, you come away thinking, man, he or she is so bright, funny, intelligent, has a great personality. You can kind of see through some of the hardness of their exterior, and you can see a great heart in that child. And you ask yourself the question, what's going on? Why is this individual struggling so much? It could be that individual is struggling so much because there are some pretty serious things going on at home, with parents who may be struggling to meet some of the demands of the finances of the home or parenting, or maybe they have their own mental health issue that they're working through. And parent coaching can be a great program to be able to address the issues that are occurring at the family level of that system as well. So that's just a really brief overview of our services and what our philosophy is. I can tell you a little bit about getting access to those services. Our big programs, our intensive in-home skill building crisis stabilization program, primarily those services are funded through Medicaid. So if there are families that or have Medicaid insurance as their primary form of insurance, they can get access to those programs pretty easily. But that's not to exclude all the other families that are out there that are privately insured through a parent's work. There is funding that is available in the community for individuals that are privately insured. It's a little bit more of an in-depth process, but it's something. There are funds that are generated through something called CSA, which is the Comprehensive Services Act. These are funding that is set up through a variety of different agencies, the Department of Education, the Department of Juvenile Justice, the Department of Social Services, that are pulled together and provided for families that may be experiencing a pretty significant mental health issue within the family system or within the child. And these services could be made available for individuals that are privately insured. So there are some different ways to be able to get services to any student that might be student or family that are experiencing some pretty significant difficulties. And really the best way to be able to kind of talk through some of these things or to see about getting individuals qualified is really to reach out to me directly. I'm the community relations director that covers the Charlottesville area, and I could kind of act like the shepherd to kind of get individuals from point A to point B and make sure that they get connected to services and get connected and make sure that they have the right type of program for what's going on. There might be a little bit of work that needs to be done to clear some of the hurdles either through insurance or through the CSA funding that might be available, but we're willing to do that in order to make sure that people get connected. So that would be the best way to get access to services that we provide. Again, we've worked in the community for a very long time. We are the largest mental health provider of community-based services in the state of Virginia. We've been operating in the state since 1993. It's our goal and our mission to make the communities that we operate in better and get greater access to mental health services for children and adolescents and families all across the spectrum. So I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit about who we are and what we do. It's my passion. I believe so strongly in community-based services, and so it's just a great opportunity for me to be able to present to you, and I would be thrilled to answer any questions that you might have about the agency or what we do or how we could get services to individuals or families that you all might know about. So questions, I'd love to answer any questions that might be out there and needed to be answered.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Miles and Courtney. Noelle, do we have questions that have been coming in?
Yes, for Andrew, we don't have any questions, but I think it would be helpful if you share your contact information.
Absolutely, I'll put it in the chat for you all to be able to take down.
That way it's documented. Seth, some questions came in about in the classroom and sharing materials in the classroom. How is that going to be handled?
Sure. So each student's going to have a assigned bin where they're going to have their materials that we provide them. So pencils, glue sticks, rulers, crayons, notebooks, all those things that will be just theirs. They'll stay by their desk. And when the next group comes in the next day, their bins will be put away in the closet and other students have their own bins. Anything that needs to be shared, for instance, maybe like a yardstick or a meter stick, those would be sanitized between use for students. Only other things they'll be sharing really would be things like swings in the recess, which we have separated by 6 feet, and we wash those off between students. But we're going to plan our lessons around having students be able to either have sanitized equipment or have their own materials as we go through.
Okay. Mr. Nelson and Ms. Burnson, are you guys going to be speaking in-person classes to the classes at all? Like regularly, or is it you be doing sessions in class?
That's a great question. I don't know that we have that worked out yet, and we know all the guidelines around that yet. Mr. Kennard, do you have any insight into that?
So they'll be in the building during the in-person sessions, but they're also going to be working virtually with a lot of our students. Most of our interventions will be done virtually. However, we know students need support. So when students need support during the school day, we'll have counselors to do that. For classroom lessons, those will probably be done virtually when students are home to provide another opportunity for them to engage with their peers. But for students who need support, individual or really safe small groups, our counselors will be there to do that as well.
Great. Megan, for the spirit wear, someone asked about if it was a new logo. Do you want to answer that?
So we sort of incorporated last year's logo and then added the year for it to kind of give it a little bit of a, hopefully a positive reminder once things are over of what we've experienced. You know, Allison and I were talking, it's like those Old Navy t-shirts where it says like Old Navy 2012, and like you can instantly go back and think where you were. So our hope is that down the road, these kids will remember, oh, you know, I enjoyed the crazy virtual experience at Baker-Butler. So we've, you know, kind of stuck with an old logo and updated it. So we hope you guys like it.
Someone said they really liked it. So that's good. Cassie, I asked you a question, but it might be helpful to answer that about adopt the teachers, the bin that's in the school for the teachers to pick up stuff. You're muted.
Man, I do that every time. Yeah, so there is a bin. So I also should probably mention, this does not have to be like a gift every month. This can just be an email, a note, whatever your family feels, however they feel comfortable pouring to the teachers. But if you do have something that you would like to drop off to them, whether that be Post-it notes or a book for their class, or just some chocolate to say, have a good day. There's a bin right inside that first door, and it says adopt a teacher on it. You are more than welcome to email your teacher and let them know when you drop something off. For those of you that are would like to stay anonymous, you're more than welcome to email the page, and I can shoot an email to your teacher. But I will also email the teachers once a week and just say, hey, don't forget to check the box. So I'll send out a reminder to them as well, letting them know you might have something in there.
That's all the questions we have, unless anybody has anything else.
I just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here and talk with y'all. And I look forward to connecting with a lot more parents.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to add too, I've been in a lot of classrooms and I am so impressed with your kids and just how well they've adapted, and I'm feeling good about them. I know a lot of parents have been concerned about wearing masks, and I've talked to other schools who have been back, and these kids, they adapt and they roll with it. And I really have faith that they're going to do great. And hats off to all the parents for all the great work you're doing to support them.
Thank you. Thanks for that encouragement. I think that it's good for me to hear that you're seeing positive things, especially because I can relate to that feeling of you don't know if you're the only one whose kids are really having a hard time. And it's important to talk to other parents and to know that the stuff that goes on in my home is probably happening in somebody else's home. And my daughter says the same thing all the time. She says she feels like she's the only person that's having a hard time. And I try to encourage her to talk to her friends, because I want to be able to show her my text thread and say, every single one of your friends' parents is letting me know that they're having a hard time. So encouraging kids to be able to find a venue to talk to each other would be great too. And that's making me think, Miles and Courtney, is there anything within our school community, a way to like get small groups together? I know that if we were in the building, you might be hosting lunches. What are you doing to allow kids this opportunity?
So as far as like Miles and I, we can do, I know Miles has had some for the older kids. I've been meeting one-on-one, but I'm already setting up like virtual lunch groups for kids. So we can do all of that virtually. As far as outside of school, I think outdoor activities for kids to meet up and socially distance, but see each other. And I know for the older kids, I do it for mine. I hate that they're online so much, but I know they do have that connection through the video game world as well. But just to be able to talk to other kids and connect to them. don't beat yourself up if your kids are online playing video games right now a lot, because they are getting that connection. But I know it's more online. But yeah, we are here. We can do groups. We can do lunch chats. We can still get them together virtually. Absolutely. Miles, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, doing the same for the older students.
Yeah.
I run weekly social groups for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And it's really neat because the kids get very excited when they see someone from a different class, because we are stuck in these little small pods. So I see quite a few kids who keep coming back to the groups, and then other kids start coming in because they see different friends. So it's nice to see. And just like you said, more than happy to try and start small groups where there's a need, and more than happy to be a resource to any other parents for other resources.
Is that something that parents need to ask for, or something that's communicated with 5th graders?
So for my social groups, I put a link to it. I think I forgot this week, but I try to put a link to the social groups. 5th graders are Thursdays at 11:30. 4th graders are Tuesdays at 11:30, and 3rd grade is Monday at 11:30. And that's something that I have rolling each week, that any kid through the grade for that grade level is allowed to join in. And then as kids come in and ask me, well, I haven't seen this friend such and such in so long, then I'll reach out. Like, I haven't seen my best friend for 6 months. Well, then I can reach out to the families, and I've tried to connect families that way. And encourage other kids to join in on some of those social interactions. I know the screen time is hard, I think connection is the most important thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think that would be really helpful too, especially as some classes are getting shifted around. And so maybe there's a way that we can help get the word out for parents to know, just to look for that and maybe schedule that in their day for their students.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the shift really is, as we have students coming into school and they'll have increased social interaction, that may free up some resources to focus on doing the same thing for our virtual students. So as we kind of get our feet grounded with this, I think that's great feedback that we can work on.
Awesome.
Seth, I was wondering, we have that newcomers event that we usually have during the summer. Did you have a virtual event with the newcomers, or?
With the new classes, we do have plans for, it's kind of grade level by grade level, but one example is, Randy, do you want to talk about what kindergarten's going to be doing next week? Every grade level is kind of designing this on their own. But as we shift students around, we are going to do some kind of mini orientation. Do you mind kind of going over what you guys are doing?
Sure. So kindergarten decided that since there are really 2 days next week where the kids will be on Zoom, since we did shift quite a bit of kids around in kindergarten, next week they'll be meeting with their new classes, so that the kids that may have never seen us will get to see us, and they'll get to see the kids that will be in their pod, their Monday, Wednesday pod, or their Tuesday, Thursday pod. And then also for our kids that are staying virtual and they're going to new teachers, they'll be going to see their new teachers and the kids that will be in their like AM pod or PM pod. And we are doing social emotional stuff for that week. So we're not pushing out any new content. It's just a chance for the kids to get to know us and get to know each other and just have fun. We condensed it into like an hour's worth of time because, like I said, we're not trying to push new content. We know that anxiety will be up, and some of us that are coming back are going to practice some mask time with the kids online, and so they can see us in our masks, and we can see them in their masks, and we can see if they're able to put it on independently and take it off, and that way we know if they're struggling with their mask, maybe to alert their parents, to practice some more. So that's one thing we're doing. And then to keep our original class connection alive, like I plan on doing pajama parties just like once a month where like all of my original class could come and I read a story and they can come in their pajamas and bring a snack. And everybody's doing it different. Some teachers have talked about lunch bunches and things like that. But we want to keep the connection with our original class because we did, bond with those kids. And I'm sure we'll bond with, our new kids, but it's especially for kindergarten, it's their first year and they're doing a lot of flip-flopping, and I'm sure this is not how they imagine kindergarten, but right now it's all they know, so that's okay. But we want to keep, the friendships alive from their original class, but also foster new friendships with the kids that they'll be coming to school or doing virtual with now. So I know that every grade level is different, but that's what we feel like would work best for the age group that we work with. So we're excited about that next week. and we haven't quite figured out how it's going to all work in Seesaw. But we're gonna figure it out. So because we were like, we can put our pictures next to the link, but then we were realizing that some of the kids have never seen us before, so it wouldn't matter if our picture was there or not. So logistically, we're figuring that out, but that is what we plan on doing next week for our kids.
That's awesome. Thank you. It's awesome that it was just so well thought out so far, and I love that the focus is on connection. Somebody's raising their hand. Deborah, Kidd.
Hi. I have actually sent Ms. Peterson a few emails, Mrs. Burnson and Mr. Nelson all emails, but I've never heard back. I've gotten emails back from Mrs. Klimas, our teacher, and principal, but I think my emails must be getting lost, and I don't really know what I could do to make them seen.
I haven't seen anything.
Exactly. I think it's just getting lost, and because I know you guys would probably have emailed me back, considering the nature of.
That's really strange.
I'm happy to send you an email like after the meeting tonight or tomorrow if you'd like, if that would, that way it makes sure it at least gets to you. If you don't see anything from me tonight, then we have a bigger problem.
Yeah. I even tried to reach out through my teacher, but I know she's got a lot on her plate, and also replied to Megan Argard about the counseling and stuff. We've been struggling. Our neighbor actually, who has a second grader at BBS, she just passed away, and we've been struggling hard here. So we need help.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to send you an email as soon as we're done here tonight to make sure that we get that connection going.
Courtney, I'll give you her info after the meeting. I'll forward it to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Deborah. We'll follow up tonight.
And if there's any time that you haven't heard back from us, call the front office and be like, hey, Mr. Nelson hasn't called me back.
Yeah.
Lisa loves to get on me, so it's great. She loves to call me and tell me those things. So please call the front office and be like, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of Mr. Nelson. And you can leave a voicemail on my school box. I've also gave Miss Oakes my cell phone number. So please feel free to call or text too. And I can get back in touch with you as soon as possible to see what we can do to help you, and be more than happy to be a go-between, whether it's someone that's on my caseload or Miss Bernson's, but we also share caseloads too. So whatever works best for the kid is what we'll do to help.
And Miles, your information, we're going to make sure that that's gotten out there through the newsletter, and we can also post that on our website as well as a resource. Any final questions? Thank you all so much for coming, and you'll be able to find this recording on the YouTube channel.